my name is Jess. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and if you're new here, I typically post content about my life as party princess and my party princess job. If you like that kind of content, you're interested in more, please like this video, drop a comment, don't forget to subscribe, and check out some of the other videos I have on my channel as well. So today we are going to be talking about my best and worst experiences as a party princess performer. And I would like to preface this video by saying that this is in no way a reflection of the quality for the company I work for. My company is amazing. I love my boss. She's amazing. She is the best boss I've ever had. All my coworkers are so nice, and I just love my company. I love the people I work with, the people I work for. So it's just that sometimes you can have best job ever, the best coworkers ever, the best boss ever, the best company ever, and you can still get stuck with bratty kids or parents who are just not, I don't know, mean parents. So I've had some pretty interesting stories. I've only been a party princess for a couple of months, but I'm still interested in sharing them with all of you. So I guess we're gonna start off with the worst party experiences first. Okay, so let's dive right into it. I already talked about in my first video posted how my car broke down when I was on my way to a party once. But one time my assistant's car broke down, and that was arguably, if not as bad, worse. Actually, her car didn't break down, she got a flat tire. Sorry, my bad. But we were on our way from the studio to the party, and her car got a flat tire, and so we pulled off the road, and we were in the middle of nowhere. When I tell you nowhere, I'm saying we pulled in a like gravel path. There was like one house there, and you know, it was like a house on like a lot of land. They had like all these Trump flags everywhere, and this like man pulled out of the driveway, and he had all these like braids in his beard, and you know, no hate on the redneck lifestyle. You know, I live in Georgia. I'm used to it, but it was just like, it was really redneck. And I was dressed as Cinderella, so I had my big ball gown, my big hoop skirt and everything. And so we kind of went up to that guy, and we were like, hey, our car broke down. We decided we were gonna Uber to the party. So we were like, can we have your address so that, you know, we know where to call the Uber to? And he was like, Cinderella, oh my gosh. And then he like called his kids over, and he made me talk to his kids, which is fine. I love talking to kids, but they were all like, they were showing how they could do like wheelies on their dirt bike. It was like, I cannot accentuate to you how much in the middle of nowhere we were. Finally our Uber came, we got in the Uber, and surprisingly enough, we were still scheduled to be on time for the party. And so we were updating the parents, you know, and the Uber driver, when I got in the car, he was like, Cinderella's in my car. He made me FaceTime his daughter, which it was just, I was like, you know, my company charges for video calls, so are you gonna pay me? But that was funny. I was just kind of like, at that point, I was so stressed about getting to the party in time that I definitely wasn't fully my best in character. So after all that, we finally made it to the party. My assistant, the whole time, she was like calling her parents, trying to figure out how they were gonna get to the car, how we were gonna be able to get to the car after the party. I was just worried about getting to the party. We got there, drove about an hour, everything is fine. The party actually was really nice, except they wanted me to do this grand entrance, you know, as they usually do at parties. Pay a lot of money, I'll enter however you want me to enter. They have like 2 stories, and I was gonna enter on the top story, and I had to descend this spiral staircase, which is already scary enough because if you misstep, you know, you're going in a spiral. But I was wearing this big hoop skirt. I could barely even fit in between the spiral staircase. I swear to God, it took me like 2 minutes to walk down the stairs. I was going so slowly, scared for my life. And then during the party, when I was painting the girls' nails, one of my eyelashes was like falling off, and there were these 2 older girls there, and they were like, why do you have a second pair of eyelashes under your eyelashes? And I was like, oh, sometimes princesses just have a lot of eyelashes. And they were like, okay. They were older, so I don't think they really believed it, but like, I had no idea what to say. And not to mention that, like, the house of the party, but that was also in the middle of nowhere. It was actually on a farm. Like, literally, there was a farm. There was roosters, there was goats. I literally heard roosters, like, cawing, whatever you call it, in the middle of the party. So that was pretty funny. But literally, after the party, we were waiting for our Uber back. And since we were in the middle of nowhere, the Uber was like 20 minutes to half an hour away. So we were like, all right, let's just get comfortable. And we were literally sitting down in this person's farm. And we didn't realize that as soon as the princess was scheduled to leave, that was when the party was ending. So we were sitting across the street on a farm. Literally, there was a farm. There were stacks of hay. There were goats. There were roosters. Everything. And the party guests started to leave. And we were like, oh crap. Like, they're literally gonna see Cinderella sitting in a farm. So one of the party guests was kind enough to offer a ride. But this one mom was just so nice. We were eventually like, fine. We'll take you up on your offer. But it was so sad because one of the little girls at the party saw me getting into the car and I was like, so sorry, like my carriage is delayed. So that was just that. And she dropped us off at a coffee shop and we waited for my assistant's parents, who were so kind to get everything figured out. They called AAA, they changed the tire, they got the car back. It was so kind of them. I can't even begin to appreciate what they did for us. But we were waiting in the coffee shop and of course it started to rain. So that was just the cherry on top of an already just such stressful day, as I had to walk out in my costume, my wig, my hoop skirt, everything in the rain. Okay, but I would also like to just pause and say that the party was genuinely so much fun. I loved the girls, the parents were super kind, and I have fun at every single party I do. Even the worst parties, it's such a fulfilling experience. It's such an amazing experience. I get to dress up as a princess I love. I get to look good. I get to make some girls' day. I get to bring magic to some families' households. Like, it's always wonderful. So even these experiences that I'm calling the worst party experiences, I still love them. So the next experience I'm going to talk about is another one where I was Cinderella. And this party was at the Four Seasons Hotel, which I have never been in a Four Seasons. I just knew that they were fancy because I remember when Trump tried to book it, but he accidentally booked that landscaping company, whenever that meme was like on Twitter and stuff. So I just knew it was fancy. And the mom knew that we were gonna have to pay for parking, because I always text the mom in the morning of the party and say, like, ask if there's any special instructions, say we're excited for the day, just general stuff like that. She literally said, like, oh, you're gonna have to pay for parking. It's probably gonna be about $20. I was like, I'm not paying $20 for parking. So we got there a little bit early and we were just kind of driving around looking for a place that was a little bit cheaper. We ended up finding somewhere that was $12, but I was like, okay, still not happy about it. I know we were in the city, so it's kind of like hard to not pay for parking, but I was hoping that, you know, we would at least get it covered by the parents, but that was not the case. Well, we went into the party and there was this lady who was like the mother's assistant. It wasn't even the mother, and she had this cart of items there, and we were kind of like, oh, hey, we're looking, you know, we're Cinderella and Belle. We were both there and we were like, we're looking for so-and-so. She was like, oh yeah, so I have some special instructions for you. And she proceeded to roll out a red carpet, and she was like, the little girls are going to walk on this red carpet to meet you. You're going to be holding this, it was like this mini jewelry box full of pearls, and you're gonna crown them the birthday crown. And we actually have our own crowns. Crowning the princess is part of our party routine. So we're like, oh, we have our own crowns, and we kind of show them to the assistant. You know, they're pretty cute. They're like little tiaras. And the assistant was like, I think we're gonna use our crowns actually. Excuse me, that our crowns aren't good enough. So anyway, pink carpet, we literally had to hand them jewels. Oh, and then she was like, she gave us the room key and she was like, you're gonna take these girls up to the princess suite. It was actually insane. Honestly, it was like the fanciest hotel I've ever been in. In the princess suite, it was literally like the penthouse of the hotel, pretty much. The only thing was, it was so hard to move around in up there because I was Cinderella and I had Belle with me. And so we both had these huge hoop skirts and petticoats, and we were trying to like sit down in like this little corner with like this little couch and table when we were doing nail painting and makeovers, and it was just kind of a lot. We were in a really confined space. And the parents, I think that they were drunk, honestly, because they rode into the party on a party bus also. They literally rode in on a party bus. I was like, you're violating so many code rules right now. And they were playing music super loudly, pouring drinks. They were acting like they were having their own like separate party, separate from the little girls' party. And so while we were trying to have like a nice calming princess party, you know, with makeovers, painting nails, playing music from Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast, which are like super calm, royal, elegant movies, the parents are over there in this corner blasting like party music, drinking. We asked them a couple times if they could lower the music because, you know, me and Belle also wanted to sing, we wanted to dance, you know, do the normal party stuff, and they were just kind of like, yeah, whatever. That was nice. And then, of course, as I said, they didn't tip. They didn't tip at all. They didn't pay for our parking, and they didn't give us a tip, which is fine. I don't expect every single person to tip, but they had us go so far out of our way, deviating from our normal party routine to accommodate for them, that I kind of thought they would be more appreciative and give a tip. And especially because, I mean, I didn't mean to make assumptions about someone's lifestyle, but they literally rented out the penthouse suite of the Four Seasons Hotel for this party. I'm assuming they allocated a large sum of money. They couldn't afford just like a $10 tip. So that was just really discouraging. Because actually, I mean, I kind of lost money at that party because I had to pay for freaking parking. The party was still fun. The girls were super nice. That was just kind of like not my favorite one I've ever done, but it was still a great experience. Anyway, next thing I'm going to talk about, this is going to be the last of the worst parties that I'm going to talk about. So I got to do one on Halloween as Winifred Sanderson. Of course, all three of the Sanderson sisters were there. That was super fun. Actually, I would classify this party I did as probably one of my more fun parties that I've done, but there was just one specific experience that like was kind of the worst. There was a kid there he was probably about my age. You know, Winifred is supposed to be like like 3,000 years old. But I think he could tell that I was like his age underneath all the makeup because he was being very, very weird to me and to all the Sanderson sisters, honestly. So he was sitting at this bar and, you know, we kind of walked in, made our grand entrance, and what we were basically supposed to do throughout the night was we were supposed to talk to each of the guests, interact with them. You know, it was kind of like a meet and greet kind of thing. So he was sitting at the bar and he was like, oh, I love your costume. And of course, you know, me and the girls were like, what costume? This is what we wear all the time. And he was like, oh, like you're gonna be acting like them too? Like, that's awesome. And, you know, it's kind of hard to respond to situations like that because it's like, I don't want to say like, yeah, I'm acting like them, because Winifred would never say that. So I was just kind of acting perturbed, you know? He just kind of kept being like, oh, like, can I get a high five? Like every time we would walk past, we were just kind of like, okay. Like he kept trying to strike up some conversations. You know, we talked to him a lot. He was kind of nice, but after a while we were like, you know, there's other people at the restaurant and we were hired to do a meet and greet, so, you know, we should interact with the other people. The owner of the restaurant created some cocktails specifically for Halloween, and there was a Winifred, a Sarah, and a Mary cocktail. And so, you know, he kept being like, I ordered the Winifred cocktail, like, is it good? And I was like, I didn't make it, I don't know. But I kept being like, of course it's good, you know? Winifred is full of herself, which also makes it kind of hard because on one hand you wouldn't see her as like the flirtatious type, but on the other hand, like whenever she gets a compliment from someone, it's kind of like, well, of course, I'm the best, I'm Winifred. And so we were walking around and interacting to the party guests, and we kind of noticed this boy who he was also kind of interacting, kind of following us in a way. And a couple of the guests we went up to, like, I'm pretty sure he told them to tell us. Like, the guests would be like, that guy over there, he's really kind. You should really go talk to him. And I'm pretty sure that guy would tell them to say that. Because why else would you say that about a random stranger? It was kind of weird. And then the girl who played Sarah, who was there, she had her girlfriend, like her girlfriend in real life, was also at the restaurant. And, you know, the girlfriend was kind of off in a corner with a couple of her friends, you know. But the guy literally went up to the girlfriend and started interacting with her and stuff. And Sarah was kind of like, she kind of pulled me aside for a little bit and was like, do you see him? Like, he's talking to my girlfriend and my friends. What is up with that? And all three of us were kind of like, this is getting like a little bit weird. And eventually I decided to leave. You know, we kind of ignored him for a while and he was like, I'm leaving. But when he left, he was like, I just love what you're doing. Can you please, like, please keep doing what you're doing. You made my night. And then he didn't ask me, can I have a hug? He just kind of went in and hugged me, and that was just bizarre. I was like, I'm dressed as Winifred Sanderson, first of all. It's not like that's a sexy outfit. Second of all, I had no eyebrows or anything. I was like, and I had this big poofy wig. It was just like, what is going on in your mind right now? But anyway, as I said, that party was still one of the most fun parties I've ever done. Like, even though those 3 parties were probably the top 3 worst parties I've ever done, that doesn't mean they were bad. Like, if this is best and this is good, they were still in between there. They weren't between good and bad. You know, they were still wonderful parties. I'm so grateful to have this job, and I'm so grateful to have these opportunities that it's like, even the worst of them, you know, it's still a fun story and it's still a fun experience, and I still had fun doing it. With that being said, now I'm going to move on to best party experiences I've ever had. The first party I ever did by myself. I was super scared for this, and I was Elsa. Honestly, I was like confident in my abilities on the inside, but on the outside, I was still like, this is the first party I've ever done by myself. You know, it was scary. I completely botched Let It Go. I did not sound good at all. Like, my voice cracked like 4 times. It was like shaking at one point. I just like remember finishing the song being like, thank God that was over. Let's just forget that happened and move on to the next one. Because usually like I try to encourage the girls to sing along with me, so it kind of like covers it up just in case I messed up. But those girls were super shy, so they were kind of just staring at me like making an absolute fool of myself. And so I was feeling super discouraged. The mom left a very wonderful review on our Facebook page after, which made me so happy. And she literally said that I was a great singer, and I was like, I mean, that just made me so happy because it was so affirming. I felt horrible after that party because I felt like I botched it, but apparently I didn't. Apparently I was still good and I still made a kid's day. Even when you think you're not the best, a kid's role model is still walking through that door, and a kid's dream is still walking through that door, and you're still bringing magic to a kid and their family. So that was kind of just a really good first party experience because it reminded me that even when you make mistakes, it's gonna be okay. The next one was a Rapunzel party. And so there were some girls at this party that were a little bit older, probably like 8, 9, 10, that range. And I love that age range of kids because that's the age range where they're kind of like, they don't fully still believe in princesses, but they're kind of unsure if they're real or they're not real. So if you're like really good at the character you're performing, you can really sway them into thinking that you're still real. So I was Rapunzel, who was one of my favorite princesses. And first of all, these girls were super into the story when I was reading it. Like the birthday girl, she was 3, and 3-year-olds are always super shy. I mean, she was still very, very happy to see me, of course, but thought she was just not as into the details of the story, but these older girls were like, and then you did this, and then you did this, and then you did this. And I was like, yes, you know everything about Tangled. I love this because I love Tangled too. And at one point they were like, I heard them like whispering to each other and they were like, do you think she's the real Rapunzel? And the other girl was like, no way, like no way the real Rapunzel would be here. And then the first one was like, is that your real hair? And I was like, yes, it's my real hair. And she was like, can I feel it? And so I let her kind of touch like the bottom part of the wig. And she was like, oh my gosh, it is her real hair. Like to the other girl, she was like, this is the real Rapunzel. Yes, that was such a win for me because I was like, princesses are real. I'll make you believe in it whether you want to or not. Oh, and then another thing at that Sanderson sisters party, there was this kid, like an actual kid, like a kid, who was like in love with Sarah. It was so cute. Every time we would walk by, you know, me and Mary would kind of talk and he'd be like, and then Sarah would talk to him and he would be like, like he was like scared, but like he like loved her, and like the parents would always like see us and like wave us down and be like, come here, and we would, because they wanted us to talk to his son, and then we would talk to them and we'd see him kind of like staring at Sarah because he just, I don't know, he just thought he was beautiful or something, and they would always, like the parents would always be like, he likes the blonde one. It was just so cute because then like we would go over there to the kid and he'd like start getting all shy and bashful, and at the end of the night we Sarah did end up getting a picture with him, so hopefully he will treasure that for the rest of his life. I just thought that was super cute. I love when boys interact with not just the Sanderson sisters or villains, but when boys interact with princesses in general, because it's just so like such a gendered thing. Like only girls can like princesses, which it's true that not all boys will like princesses, but the ones that do, it's just so cute. And it's like, why does society tell us that boys can't like princesses? Like sometimes boys have a little kid crush on a princess, which is cute. And sometimes the boys genuinely love Elsa because she's freaking cool. She has ice powers, and Frozen and Frozen 2, like they have a lot of action in the movies. So it's like, of course boys would like them too. Oh, and then another party I did as Cinderella, there was a fairy godmother there. It was just one of the party guests who was dressed up as the fairy godmother, but it was so cute because, you know, we walked in and Belle was there with me again, and she was like, Cinderella, I think your fairy godmother is here. And I just saw her and I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I haven't seen you in so long. It was just so cute. And then in all the pictures we did, you know, we did some with like Belle, Cinderella, and like the little kid. And then we would have some with the fairy godmother in there too. And she was like, I'm a part of the princess. I think it was the birthday girl's grandma who was probably dressed up as that, but it was the cutest thing. This is the last party I'm gonna talk about, as I don't know if it's the best party I've ever done, but it's definitely up there. It's hard for me to rank some over the other just because there's so many factors involved, like the character I'm playing, the kids, the location, the parents, stuff like that. But this is definitely up there with one of them because at first it started out as an absolute crisis. At first we thought that like we were gonna get fired because it was a 2-hour party, which is the longest length of parties that parents can book unless they ask for extended time when you're there, which these parents did ask for extended time. But again, it was a 2-hour party and it was Cinderella and Snow White, and then Olaf was there for 30 minutes. So we had a girl that was playing Olaf, and then she was just gonna like stay as the manager for the rest of the party. And so we were about 10 or 20 minutes from the house, and we realized this was a 2-hour party and we forgot the face paint, which for 2-hour parties, parents can order an activity like face paint, nail polish, makeovers, you know, whatever. But without the activity, 2-hour parties feel like they're gonna take forever, especially depending on how many kids are there. And we were like, shoot, we forgot the face paint. What are we gonna do? Because the parents also paid for that. They paid to have extra face paint. And so we were like, it's fine. What ended up happening was the girl who was playing Olaf, who Olaf was gonna be there for 30 minutes, she was gonna take my car after she was done being Olaf, drive to the local dollar store, pick up some face paint, and come back. And it was risky, but we were like, this is literally the only option because we were like an hour and a half from the studio, so it's not like someone else could have brought us the supplies in time. And so we get there, and of course the mom was like, I think we should start with the face painting. And we were like, no. And that was kind of embarrassing how we had to explain to her that we forgot it. But at the end it worked out because, you know, we did do the face painting, we did get the face paint. I mean, I just classify that party as one of the best because that girl who played Olaf was truly a trooper, and it truly just proved to us that like the show must go on. At the end of the day, like, these kids want magic, we're bringing the magic. It doesn't matter what happens, which is what I love about my job. And then on our way home from the party, we actually got stuck in a tornado, which was fun. There was like all these tornado warnings. It was raining really, really hard. It was really, really windy. And we didn't see like a funnel cloud, but like, you know, we were all getting these tornado warnings on our phone, on the radio, and we were like, well, there wasn't really anywhere to stop because it was also, you know, it's during the pandemic. Places aren't exactly open really, like, and we weren't even sure where would be safe. We weren't sure like if we tried to go to a church, you know, there's like windows everywhere and stuff. And so we were like, let's just keep driving. Like, hopefully we'll get through it. And we saw the sky was, we didn't see a funnel cloud itself, but we saw the sky was like all green and stuff, and we were like, I was genuinely worried we weren't gonna make it back, but since I was the one driving, I was kind of like keeping my composure. And that was just kind of like a cute little bonding moment for me and like the other girls that were there, which is also something I just really love about my job, like bonding over the parties that like you've done with other people. So that was my best and my worst party experiences that I've ever had. There's been a lot more parties than the ones I just talked about, although I've only been working for my company since September. But I feel like every party has a best moment and a worst moment, so it's hard to pick just those, but I didn't want to keep this video too long. I hope you enjoyed. If you want more story times, I'm about to get back to work soon, so I'll try to do some vlogs during that. If you liked this content and you want to see more like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to check me out on my other social media accounts. My TikTok is Princess Jess 18 and my Instagram is Princess Jess 18. And then drop a comment on what kinds of content you want to see in the future. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.